Staying with us, small restaurant owners in KwaZulu-Natal say the newly introduced curfew under the current level 3 lockdown is crippling their already struggling businesses. Our reporter Simphiwe Makhanya visited a restaurant in Port Shepstone on the KwaZulu-Natal south coast to get a sense of how they're coping.
We are outside the food farm factory restaurant here in Shelley Beach on the KZN south coast. As you know, that it's a nationwide phenomenon where restaurants across the country are basically highlighting their plight about how they've been affected by the lockdown regulations. The place that you can see behind me is virtually empty. There's no one here, but it's obviously open for business. Because of the lockdown regulations, we've seen quite a number of small businesses such as this one being adversely affected by the lockdown regulations, in particular by the newly introduced curfew from 9 o'clock. Let me speak to the owner of the restaurant, Miss Leanne Galloway, who will talk to us about how her business has been affected by these new regulations. Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. I can see that your business is empty today. Is this always the case?
No, it hasn't been the case. When we first started our business in January, we were a full restaurant and we were pumping every single morning. And due to what's happened and people being afraid of coming out, this is what the result is, an empty restaurant with no money coming in.
In practical terms, ma'am, can you explain to us how this lockdown has affected your business?
Yes, well, our main plight is the fact that we were asked to close our business to fight the curve, and we were offered assistance with that, and we happily did it. We complied and we closed our business down for 5 weeks with the knowledge that we were going to have assistance from the government with our UIF. As it currently stands, none of our staff have been paid a full salary for the last 2 months, and this is where we're sitting at. And we would like to continue our nighttime trade and have families come and sit down and enjoy dinner with us. But because of the curfew, the newly introduced curfew, it would be a very rushed situation and no one would be able to sit down and enjoy their dinner. The staff would be rushed to clean up the restaurant and get home and get on the taxis. So it doesn't work for us as far as us wanting to expand and make a little bit more money. It's hurting business.
Since the introduction of the curfew or the lockdown from March, I'm just trying to get a sense of how many people have you had to let go in terms of your staff complement?
We started the farm food factory with 9 staff, and up to date we've had to let go of 3 who have bought this restaurant with us, and it was very sad to let them go. Hopefully, if things do improve, we can invite them back to the team again. But as it currently stands, we can barely stay afloat, and we can hardly pay any salaries.
If the president of the country was watching and listening to you right now, what would you say to him?
I would say, President Ramaphosa, please, you and your ministers, stick to your promises. We listened to you and we complied. We just need a little bit of help getting through this, and to help make sure that we have our business going. And the whole of the restaurant industry and the tourism industry is pleading with you just to allow relaxed laws. People can be mature about it. There can be safe ways of allowing it to happen, just to see that the industry keeps going and that we don't close down the beautiful tourism industry in our country, because that's what it's all about. That's what we thrive for.
Earlier on when we spoke of, you mentioned the issue of the taxi industry versus your industry. Can you elaborate on that?
We discussed it as a team, and we feel that if the taxi industry is allowed to run at 100%, they are the lifeline of the working system, and they allow people to come to work. So if they're running at 100%, it's already opening up the country to this pandemic. And we feel that if the taxi industry is allowed to run at 100%, that the economy should be open and that everybody should be allowed to run and at 100%, all businesses.
Despite, of course, the dangers of having more people in one place, which risk actually spreading the virus?
But we feel that people know what's going on. This virus has been in our country long enough, and that people can be responsible and mature and take the right precautions and still have our country open up and not suffer financially We feel that the South African citizens can be responsible and the laws can be relaxed, and we can take care of ourselves and look after ourselves and make sure that we don't spread it.
Ma'am, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity to express our hardships and our plight, and we hope that this message does go through, and we stand with every industry in South Africa, and we hope that we will get through this.
Well, that's Leanne Galloway. She is the owner of this restaurant we are coming to you from. Let us also speak to the employees who've been adversely affected, obviously, by this lockdown. Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. As an employee, you come here every day, you do your best to ensure that you get a salary at the end of the month. But how is the situation currently?
It's very tough as an employee because for the past 2 months we actually haven't received a full salary, and for myself personally it's caused me to have to dip into a savings account that I set up for myself that I hoped I would only need to use in a really, really rainy time, but now I've had to start going in, and it's becoming really tough, and I see the effects it's having on not only myself personally but the people around me as well, my friends, fellow colleagues who are having to catch the taxis and struggling with the transport costings and stuff like that. So yeah, it's becoming really difficult, definitely so.
Ma'am, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Let's also speak to the lady who's sitting just across the other table. Ma'am, thank you very much also for your time. I just want to get a sense of how you have been affected. I believe you are a single mother. You work here, you come here every day to do your best to get a salary at the end of the month, but the situation does not allow you to.
Me, as I'm an employee of the farm food factory, this situation, it's very bad because I've got 2 kids, I'm a single mother. Then it's even worse because the transports have been increased. So my transport fee for the month, it's 1.8. Now it's been 2 months, I haven't received any salary. Yeah, it's very tough.
What would your call be to authorities of the country, government?
I think government must allow us to fully open our business, because it doesn't make sense, because the taxi is 100%. We like the taxis we're getting full, but here we can't, our customers, they can't get in here like 100%. So it doesn't make sense for me, because I'm traveling with the taxi. I can get a coronavirus there by the taxi and then come to spread here in our shop.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
The message is quite simple. The placard that she's holding says, protect the food chain. Jobs, save jobs rather. That's the message that they are basically sending to the authorities and government at this very moment. It's back to you in Johannesburg for now.